Hey everyone, it's Michael and
Alex.
and
Ruben,
all in the same room from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, bringing you high energy, excitement, all the fun and games of three strange blokes who believe in bullion in the one room.
Who haven't been in the one room for
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Weeks.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So, I guess without further ado,
Got some party poppers there as well.
We're
Someone said
going wild. Woo.
Someone said we were like low energy, low gusto. So I thought, what's the best way to? There we go.
Misfire. I'm not doing the
Do the other one on camera. Come on, you shot that all off.
Oh dear. Now we get the cordite fumes.
Yeah, someone said we were low energy. I'm like, what's the best counter for that to have us all in the one room? And it's definitely a party vibe.
All right, so every answer you have to give has to be soaked in food.
no thanks. All right.
All good fun. Looks like a lot of people from all over the place today.
Yeah.
New Zealand, Carolinas.
Says a few people that let me start that again. Aren't normally able to catch us as well. Seeing us for the first time, not on the playback.
Somebody said there was a public holiday somewhere.
Yeah, we missed out on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
We obviously need a Bullion Now office, wherever that is currently.
Welcome back, Michael.
Thanks, mate.
Welcome back, Rubes. It's
Good to be back.
It is good to be back.
I'm not the only one that's been holding the fort here.
Oh, mate, what would we do without you?
Oh.
You need a pay
Don't answer
rise,
that.
I'm sure.
No.
Tell your boss you need a pay rise.
We'll talk later.
Hey, everyone's attention is drawn to the big old snake in the center of the room. Not the elephant in the room, the snake in the room.
It's certainly a statement, isn't it?
It's absolutely. Look, I already called it, but it wasn't hard to call. That's the 10 kilo sofa. It's going to be, and when we open it up, wow, is it gorgeous?
Yeah. I love... Ruben and I just did the unboxing on this afternoon, but I love the way they do their 10 kilo coins with this almost clay-like background.
Yeah.
It's not a matte finish like they normally do. Yeah. It's this almost clayish type background. And it just makes the shiny finish absolutely pop. It's unbelievable.
That makes it's just stunning.
Yeah, and then when you actually get over to Perth, if you ever are fortunate enough to get the guided tour through the back rooms of Perth, they take you into the area, or they've taken us into the area where they actually produce these, and they only make 100 a year. We've talked about this a few times, but they actually allocate. Is it 3 rooms, Rubes? It's 2 or 3 rooms that are just dedicated to producing these every year. So I used to think they were... we'll say it again. It's cheaper to buy... This is one of those standout rare times where it's cheaper to buy 10 by 1 kilo coins than it is to buy 1 by 10 kilo coin. But I still think, even though it's a little bit dearer, and it's not hugely dearer, but it is a bit dearer, I still think these things are a screaming bargain when you understand how much handcrafted work and resources and facilities go into producing just 100 of these for the whole world every year.
Yeah. Well, and before you know it, that'll be spot. 10 kilos at spot the way things are going.
Well, I mean, we used to sell them. I was trying to remember when we were doing the unboxing on them. Yes, the 10 kilos are for sale. We've actually got 3 of the coins, which without any evidence at all, I would hesitatingly say it's the largest gathering of 10 kilo snakes since they left Perth Mint.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else in Australia gets anywhere near that number. In fact, I think we're one of the few dealers in Australia that actually gets them.
It's one of those series that you have to get on the list somehow.
Yeah.
And then once you've got that many allocated, they give you automatically that same amount for next year. And so it's kind of a bit hard to tap into that allocation of 100.
Yeah, and it is. And seriously, 90% of them make their way overseas. They don't stay in Australia. There's very few that stay in Australia at all. So,
and then very few unearth again. They will just disappear.
Other than Like we got those ones earlier this year that we secured
Luna
off
2s,
Yeah.
Luna 2 rabbits.
the rabbits that we secured off an overseas person. And we've had one other person sell 2 different ones back. And that's it in the whole history of Bullion Now. And even prior to that, when I was in the industry. That is the only buybacks of the 10 kilos that I have ever seen through the whole time. So they really do. They just disappear into the system, never to be seen again.
And before my time here, there was a 10-kilo gold
Snake.
snake as well. Yeah,
There was.
Oh, spewing, I missed that one.
There is a video on that
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
But, not that many years ago, one of these was selling for less than $10,000. And now spot value on them
Yeah.
is far more than that.
I know.
It's near enough to 20 grand
Yeah.
a pop spot value.
Makes me kind of wish I bought that 10-kilo tiger that I had in my basket. and then in the basket at 10:30 one night. Yeah. Stunning.
So beautiful coin. We thought Ruben had it all set out. We did the unboxing on the desk here. So Ruben kindly set it all out so we could have it as a centerpiece for the live stream.
Oh, what a centerpiece.
Yeah, I think it's a great one.
The handball from that, Michael, that everyone is asking questions about is the Perth Mint tour. People would like updates.
I would like an update. Hang on a sec. Let's see if I have a relevant email.
All right, while you're looking at that, Roy, at Midnight Gardener, no coffee, what's going on? No, if you've noticed, we were 1 minute late. There is coffee.
It's just hiding off of
On
shot.
the other side of the screen.
Yeah, he even got me a hot chocolate.
Oh, yes, and that's...
I may even make it through to the
yeah,
end of this.
and got Rubes a drink as well, and that's thanks to
Sure
Blue
did.
Mare, who came in yesterday and shouted us. So thank you very much for that. Much appreciated.
So we're waiting on an update live.
I'm just waiting on a confirmation of numbers. In fact, I will commit us to
Ooh,
not today,
careful.
not today. Don't jump the gun, but I'll commit us to early next week. It'll be Monday. Well, we'll have to do the filming Monday because I'm not in here on Tuesday. We'll do the filming for the tickets and what we're going to do. So look out for that release Monday, Tuesday next week, and we'll have something out there because, as Ruben pointed out to me just before we came on live stream, people are going to need to start organising time off work and hotel rooms and airfares and all that sort of stuff to come across to Perth to do it. So
It gets pricey or just not possible doing that last minute sometimes.
yeah. So for those that don't know what we're talking about, last year for the release of the dragon. No, the release of the snake. It
snake.
wasn't the release of the dragon. So for the release of the snake last year, Bullion Now family were very kindly invited by the Perth Mint to come across there and be part of the launch of the Lunar Series release for that year. Part of that launch, we were allowed to, we gathered the night before in Perth at the pub diagonally across the road from the Perth Mint, and we all shared a meal and stayed way too late, gas bagging about all sorts of things that we probably shouldn't have. And then the next morning we fired off early, went through the Perth Mint before it even opened. They invited us in. They gave us an incredibly slick tour of the back end of Perth Mint, areas that the public is absolutely not allowed to go into, through security, all sorts of things. And it was an amazing trip. Then we were taken back out from the back room, taken into a room and fed I got told off for saying it was a light breakfast. It wasn't. It was just snacks, if you like, early morning snacks, while several of the Perth Mint people actually gave us talks on various functions around the Perth Mint, including the designer of that year's lunar release, the snake. He came in and was very generous with his time and talked about it and answered any questions that we had. There was also the head of design was in there and all sorts of people. It was fantastic. And then we got let loose in the Perth Mint shop to do some shopping, and we all of us that bought snakes for that year got signed certificates from the designer to say you've bought it on day one release at the Perth Mint, signed by the designer of the snake coin. And it was absolutely an amazing day. And anyone that is either in the chat here that can vouch for what I'm saying because they were there, or anyone else who, if you bump into someone that was actually there, they will tell you it was unbelievable. So if you get chance to come across, we are looking at the 1st of September for that release day and doing it all over again, thanks to the huge generosity of the Perth Mint and the staff over there with their time. So we will open up EOIs for that Monday or Tuesday next week, so look out for it. And
Via the video.
Yep, we'll do it via the video. Look out for it, and we'll give you full instructions on how to do whatever we're going to do with that.
Very exciting. Looking forward to that.
Oh, I'm hanging out for it.
There's a few people in chat that have been out to Pakenham. We've opened by appointment only, and so there's
a bit of a soft opening.
So there's a few people in chat that have said they've been out there and enjoyed it, and says it looked great. So yeah, if you have been, let us know in chat. But yeah, there's a few people that already have. This person says, went to Pakenham today for a pickup. It looks amazing. Going to be my favourite drop-in place after Bunnings.
After Bunnings? After Bunnings?
Now I'm not sure if that's like on the way back from, or if it's
I'll accept that.
or if it's a tier list. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not much of a Bunnings fan until I go into Bunnings, and then there's like...
Yeah, you can get lost in there for hours, can't you?
Yeah. Well, last time I went in, I'm like, what's for prepping? I got a battery pack.
Yep.
You know, so you sort all your batteries in one spot, and there's always something that just catches my eye. I don't blame it.
It's been the thing that amazes me with like opening Pakenham like that, like we've done quietly. I'm really glad we've done it because we're missing things that I never realised, like an ID scanner. Never even crossed my mind that I needed an ID scanner out there, which is really dumb. But yeah, I'm going to have a look at that. So it's just little things like that where you go, oh, you idiot. Why didn't you realise this 2 months ago, 3 months ago? So, yeah.
Yeah, well, one of those things. But yeah, why barbecue when we've got con? You can put a
Oh,
gear on.
yeah.
Just do a bit of Greek.
Souvlaki's all around. I'll be there.
Yeah. All right. What else have we covered this week? This week's we had quite a few things come through as well. I don't know if you want to go into that or save for a bit later. No, people have been asking about what's in.
I don't know, Rubes. Your conductor here. Threw my mouse on the floor. Your conductor here, mate. What's the go?
We've got a few things we can still talk about. We had the release of your deep philosophical video this week. Oh, hello.
Sorry.
Can hear ourselves there.
Echo.
Yeah, we had the release of your deep philosophical video this week. You were out in the snow. It was only after Alex made a suggestion of, you should put, because I had to fake a bit of a thumbnail up because you weren't actually out there in the snow.
No, I wasn't.
And he said, you should put him on Hoth. You know, he likes Star Wars. And I'm like, Hoth am. So there we go. We've now got you out.
It looks like Mount Hotham.
That's it. Out on the battlefields there. We do appear to be dropping some frames, so sorry if we're freezing, but it looks like we're all right now.
Oh no!
Is what it is. We're hopefully getting some better internet sorted.
Silver Sushi. I came into Melbourne store the other day. I can't believe how much space there is now. It's like the other day. Must have been the morning. Like I was in here very early in the morning. No one else was around, and I was standing there in the shop. And I was going, right, so this is where the shop used to stop.
Yeah. It feels like
How
a
did we
tiny
fit
box.
everyone in?
Yeah. When you're on the other side of the counter, like back in the old shop, it was almost like a bit of a stand-up Greco-Roman wrestling just to get past the other staff member to get to the, now you've got so much space. It's really cool, and it's even now there's been more upgrades
this week,
this afternoon, even just today with what the guys did compared to a few days ago. So it's good to see the progression. But yeah,
it was funny in the old store. I used to say you knew when you had a new person in there because they didn't know the dance. Because there was a certain dance in the back room and behind the counter that you had to do to get past everyone. So, but yeah, it's much bigger. Still looks like a building site. Unfortunately, we are getting there, but we're not there yet.
Cars. Hey guys, heading to the Middle East late on tonight. I will send you a pic of a Bullion Now bag, and then you can guess which country exactly.
I was going to say, you've just told us that.
Well, it's
the Middle East.
Yeah.
All sand looks the same to me.
It's coarse and rough and it gets everywhere.
That's right.
Here we go. Hang on. Plume.
Lots
Yes.
of fun.
So I'll just respond to that. Sorry. That was, something from the store yesterday.
So with this Perth Mint tour, should we see how many places we can sneak the BN bag into the Perth Mint?
We played second and last ever Perth Mint Bullion Now tour. Yeah, maybe not.
Back again.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
We can't do financial advice, Michael, but Raymond would like us to decide maybe just for ourselves which would be a better buy for long term, 10 by 1 ounce silver or 1 10-ounce bar. It comes down to
10 by 1 ounce silver.
Yes, or 1 by 10 ounce. It comes down to the use case, and what your sell back plan is. I would suggest.
Yeah, exactly. Also what type of silver you're buying. Because we just had a chat before we jumped on stream.
Oh yes.
About a 1 ounce of silver and how much that was just a bar, wasn't it? 1 ounce silver vintage bar and how much that was going for. So it all depends on, like Rube said, your exit strategy. If you just want it for the metal value, for converting, your fiat into precious metals, then you'd go for, it doesn't really matter. If it's paying spot, doesn't really matter. But if you're going for more for the collectibles, and I don't know if Ruben can show what we were talking about, but it's basically an auction of a 1 ounce silver bar that went for a lot more than what it is. So it depends on the field you're going. You're going vintage, you're going collectible, or you're going just...
hang fire on that photo for a second.
I'm glad we're deciding that because I'm not ready.
You're not ready yet. There's so many factors at play here as well, and I'm not trying to dodge your question, but are we saying that they're both the same on a per ounce basis? Because normally 10 1 ounce coins or bars would be dearer than 1 10-ounce bar. But if they're both the same, I would lean very heavily on going into the 10 over the 1, because, as in the 10 by 1 ounce rather than the 1 by 10 ounce, because it gives you more options. I can sell one off if I've got a 10 ounce, I can sell one off if I've got 10 1 ounces, and I just need a quick, $50, $100, whatever it is. Whereas if I've got a 10 ounce bar, I have to sell everything back. I've got no option here. So there's all those sorts of considerations in there. The other consideration is, and it's a conversation that we were having just before coming on live stream, is that if you're in Australia, there is no capital gains tax. I am not a tax advisor. I'm not a tax agent. I don't work for the tax office. So please, please, please check this before you rely on it totally. My understanding is that there is no capital gains tax on items that are purchased below $500, no matter how much you sell it for. If I buy 1 10-ounce silver bar at today's spot price, it's going to be, unless you're very lucky, it's going to be greater than $500. If I buy 10 1-ounce bars or coins, at this stage, most 1-ounce bars and coins are below that $500 mark. So even in the future, if you sell that 1-ounce coin for $20,000, my understanding, and again, you need to go and check this with your tax agent, my understanding is that even though you've made $19,940 profit on that coin, there is no capital gains tax on it because it was originally purchased below $500.
Yeah.
So that could be another consideration for you as well.
Yeah, on that note, I did go through something similar with a lot of collectibles that I sold, and it was all purchased originally at under $500, and that went through okay, no capital gains tax. The issue was, and it's come back that I have to sort out now, because I had previous to that, and I mean, it's still active, but I never used it, and personal ABN, so Australian business number, they queried it because it is like a business number. So just be careful as well. If I had known that, then I would have got, say, partner or somewhere else to sell that. Even though it's the same thing, it's just avoiding the stress of, not the stress, the hassle of going through it and redoing the whole thing again. The other thing I wanted to say is, I mean, you're talking about 10 1 ounces with 1 10-ounce, but if you're talking, say, kilos, then and higher kilos, then just look at what you get paid back for spot, because we pay spot on, say, kilo bars and up to 100-ounce silver bars. But if you with the 5 kilos and that, generally it depends on, it's negotiable, but generally under spot. So as you're going up higher, that same mentality might not apply, because might not necessarily get full spot on the heavier weights.
Yeah. And look, it's far easier to resell smaller sizes than it is the larger sizes. You know, if you've got a couple of ounce coins or bars, and you know you could head down to the pub or wherever you sell your bullion outside of Bullion Now.
Macca's car park.
Yeah, you know, someone's going to have that sort of money. But when you walk in with a 1,000 ounce bar, 32 kilo bar, that's now going to be worth 1,000 ounces. It's probably going to be worth somewhere a bit over $60,000.
Yeah.
You know, you all of a sudden you're limiting the number of buyers, the buying pool. You're limiting it down quite a lot because, you know, in a personal example, if I spend, you know, $100, $200, the wife's not going to get that cranky with me. If I go out and spend $60,000 without her okay, or without a conversation with her, she's not going to be real happy with me that night.
I'd break out the whiskey the night before.
That's right.
Don't you remember? Don't you remember?
Yes. So, you know, there's those considerations. So that there's so many variations and combinations in there that only you can actually decide at the end of the day, look, this is the best thing for me in my circumstance at this point in time with the information I have at hand. G'day, Nemos from Scotland.
Please don't continue the accent.
No, my Scottish accent's absolutely terrible, so I'm not even going to attempt it.
It is. It's probably worse than mine. Actually, mine's pretty bad. But that just brought memories of Supergran. Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh, dear.
All right, moving on.
We have a follow-up from last week, Michael, that we totally remembered to go away and do some research on that we said we would do. Not really. You just it was in the fast last-minute thing.
Yeah, and I said,
and
ask me next week when there's a bit more time.
Yeah, so Michael Turner says, I'm pretty sure this was the question, says, any thoughts on why Britannias were way cheaper than local coins, particularly in the 1/10th? And I'm pretty sure that was the one, and you said, yep, that's got a great answer. We will come back to that next week.
What was the great answer? And I did have a great answer for it.
No, that was a great question.
No, it was accompanied
answer,
by a great answer, I think, but we just didn't get to that bit.
So what was the question? Ask it again.
Any thoughts on why Britannias were way cheaper than local coins, particularly in the 1/10th?
I can't remember the grand answer I was going to give last week, but effectively, look, there's a couple of reasons. One is a lot of the local bars and things like that aren't quite so automated and mass-produced. You need to compare the Britannia to the Perth Mint Kangaroo. That's comparing apples with apples. When you compare it with, say, a locally produced hand-stamped cast bar, there's a lot more labour intensivity, if that's a word. It's a lot more labour intensive to actually create that rather than the machines that the big mints use, where they literally get a big forklift pallet container and they roll in and they tip them upside down into the machine. The machine sorts them all out, lines them all up, stamps them all, spits them out the other side, places them into a tube, seals the tube, places the tube into a monster box, seals the monster box, and labels it and spits it out the other side. And so there's no real human input in there at all. And they just keep punching them out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without a break. The new equipment that Perth Mint's just fitted for their kangaroos is completely human-free. And it just does its job day in, day out. So when you're comparing that to somebody in, one of the refineries in Australia where quite often things are hand-poured, they're hand-stamped, it's far more labour intensive, so the price goes up. You've also got, believe it or not, you've got economies of scale there as well because they are producing such larger amounts. Their input costs are far cheaper, even though they're not. Even taking out the mechanical side of it, their input costs, because they buy their silver in far larger portions, they buy their packaging in far larger portions, they get better rates on their shipping and all that sort of stuff. So quite often it is cheaper to bring things in from overseas than it is to even just source it from a refinery that's, within 20 k's of our store here. So that's the kind of reasons we're looking at on those sorts of things.
It also sounds like Royal Mint are giving it away. Nemo, our Scottish person on the front line says Royal Mint had a technical error that displayed 1/10 Brit tubes for half price a few weeks ago, and we jumped on them. Fair play to Royal Mint. They honoured the sales.
Oh, good on him.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
That might be the other reason we were able to get some 1/10 from the Royal Mint a bit cheap.
Well, no, we didn't get them that cheap, I can tell you.
I'll tell Adzi to order some more.
Yeah, that's right.
Hurry.
Yeah. Look, we've got a meeting with the Royal Mint over in Oklahoma next month. I'm really looking forward to that. Catching up with them again, which will be good. Where are you? You've said you're in Scotland, Nemo. I'm assuming you're a store. So if you'd like to do a bit of a PR stunt and tell us where you are, we'll actually give you a bit of a promo over there. Give us a bit of detail if you can. Always good to hear from other bullion dealers and coin dealers from around the world.
Dangerous though with numismatics, I found for myself.
Are we going down that path, are we?
Oh, it's a slippery slope, isn't it?
It doesn't have to be numismatics though. That photo, are you ready with that photo yet, Rubes?
Sure am.
Yeah, so even numismatics, like we talk about numismatics on here semi-occasionally, not hugely, but even the bullion can catch you out. So this is one that one of our guys was showing us just before we went on to live stream. So shout out to Con there.
It ended at lunchtime today. Like this is fresh.
So this is a live, this was an auction that finished today on eBay. And you can see there, it's a 1 ounce Harrington bar with a loop on there so you can hang it up as a pendant. It's one of the older ones. I think, see, antique rare. That's their call on it. I'm not saying whether it is or it isn't. I haven't done enough research in there. But you can see there for a 1 ounce bullion bar of silver, you are paying $810 Australian plus shipping.
Wow. hitting with that plus shipping.
Yeah.
Just a bit of salt on the wound, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially when for the seller, when eBay charges you the percentage inclusive of postage as well. So
yeah. So it's I don't ever want to hear anyone ever complain about Bullion Now prices ever again. Because I don't think we've ever sold an ounce of silver for $810.
No, and yeah,
as
if
much
you
as I
want
wish.
to avoid all that hassle selling on eBay, we do pay spot as well.
That's right.
All silver, that's pure. So.
To whoever purchased that one, if you ever want to get rid of it, we will give you spot.
Is it in the book though?
Fight over it?
Is it in the book though, Michael? That's the question.
Sorry?
Is it in the book?
Actually, I don't think it is. I haven't seen it before.
I've got the book and don't recall seeing that one.
Version 2. Might have to pay a couple of $800 or so.
There you go. Nemo's not a store. He's a stacker with a YouTube channel. So if you want to promo your YouTube channel up there, mate, you go right ahead.
I was going to say, I think people can, just click on it and it'll be the same name. So
beautiful. Job's done.
Plume Air, on the topic of price, says, why is Bullion Now sometimes a lot cheaper on Perth products than Perth is itself?
Oh, there's so many ways I could answer that and get into trouble.
We are going to Perth Mint though, so this is a...
Let's not burn that bridge.
Look, most times our pricing is very similar to Perth Mint. Look, there's no major margins in this industry. I can tell you, like I was saying to a customer the other day, if you get on some gold products, if you get 1% markup on a gold product, it's high fives all around the office. And silver, sometimes if you crack 3%, it's all high fives around the office. We try and keep our pricing as fair as possible. We don't. Ultimately, all of us here, even if we don't start off as stackers and collectors,
we become them.
We become them very quickly within the company. So you could almost say that, look, Bullion Now is a business. We're here to make a profit at the end of the day. I'd be lying if I said anything else. We're absolutely there, but we're not there to... I'm sounding like I'm bagging everyone out, and I'm not meaning it this way, but we're not there to price gouge. We're not there to try and make the most we can. We just want to charge fair prices, both on buybacks when we're buying them back and being able to provide you with that service, but also when we're selling. So we don't... There's certainly times where we could charge more than Perth Mint if we really wanted. And we absolutely don't. Even with our numismatics, so through Little Coin Shop, semi-frequently we'll end up in situations where they've had a very limited release, the price has gone nuts. Little Coin Shop will still sell them as long as it can at the recommended retail price. We won't try and increase the price, even though the market's run hard. We won't increase the price because we've bought them wholesale. We'll sell them retail. And we try that wherever we can. Usually, the difference between Bullion Now and Perth Mint pricing usually is down to spot price movements. So our spot price may have moved faster than theirs, or theirs may have moved faster than ours, and so there's a bit of a schism in between. And that would be the only time I would say that we are a substantial amount cheaper than Perth Mint, because we try and target, to keep the prices fair, we try and target that Perth Mint price as we go along. I don't know. Does that answer the question, or have I dodged it?
No, I think so.
I think
It's one that a lot of people have. They want to know how we get our prices, how it's kind of set in the industry. We get it in store a lot of the time. People will come through and go, I was just upstairs and potentially someone was charging more for something, and why, how, what's the difference?
Well, I mean, it's a free market. People can charge whatever different businesses can charge whatever they want. We just try and keep it as fair as, what we believe is fair. We try and keep it as fair as we possibly can.
Or if they've been recommended and referred by ChatGPT.
Yeah. Apparently we're rating quite well on ChatGPT.
That's very good.
Which is good to see.
Yeah.
I reckon we do a bit of show and tell. Pick one of the items that you guys have got there in front of you as something to look at.
Don't you say?
I was actually reading.
I know you're both distracted. What?
Yeah.
I just
Where are
looked
we
at
starting?
The 10 kilo snake again. Which is
Catch cats in your eye, doesn't it?
mesmerised.
We're going to have it sold by the end of the live stream. You watch.
Oh, this is a beauty.
This one spun me out is probably the best way to put it. So this one, I don't know, Froobs, if you can scroll in on it. This is an older bar. So this would classify as a vintage bar. And I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not in the book. The Australian, what's it called? Australian bullion cast bars or something like that?
Ingots and...
Poured bars.
Yeah.
So it's one of those that's in there. And we see them in the store, not heaps, but we see them in the store sometimes, occasionally. And look, they're a good bar. They're a good one to collect.
Yeah, DCL and Harrington stamp on it.
Yeah, so it's got both on there. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen, but I certainly haven't seen them for many years, is the original bag that it came in.
Oh, that's a beauty.
And you can see it's looking a bit worse from where.
It's a worn beauty,
Yeah.
but it's still a beauty.
It's not in pristine condition, but it's absolutely a stunning bar. A stunning bag.
A stunning bar holder.
Yeah, that's the one. And you can see the name on the bottom there, and I'm trying to read it backwards, and I can't remember what it actually stands for, and I don't have my glasses on.
Here we go.
But you can see it there anyway and make
Darlington Commodities Limited.
Commodities
Yeah,
Limited. Yeah.
Oh, there goes my pilot's license next time I sit my medical.
We'll just edit this out, Mike.
Yeah, that's right. So to see the bar and bag together, it's incredibly rare.
That wasn't all it came with, though, Michael.
Did it come with the receipt as well? Did it?
Came with the receipt.
Brett
The original
wrestled
receipt. I didn't
the
know that.
customer down for it, and then before he let it go, she said, "Look, if you give me a photocopy of the original, you can keep. You can keep the original. I'll just take a photocopy, the scan of."
We actually have the original. Now it is actually something we can show as well, because it was just made out to cash, so there isn't any personal information on it.
Have you got a copy of it there?
I do have a copy we can flick up. So that right there is the original purchase.
Right. Again, I'm going to show my age because
For-
I can't see from here.
That's all right, they can't see
with
you,
the glasses
Michael.
on either.
This was from 1981 for $273.75
A kilo.
a kilo.
$270 for a kilo bar.
Keep the kilo bar. I want the bag in the.
We are 10 times,
Yeah.
almost 10 times that high now. Well, yeah, a bit less, probably 8 times that. Since 81, I'm just trying to do the maths here. So 81, so about 40 years, a bit over 40 years, you're up about 8 times.
Wow.
That's not a bad return on a kilo bar that you threw in the sock drawer and forgot about.
Or Nana threw and then you found. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's,
that is a beauty. So are
yeah.
we melting that or what's that?
The bag? I don't think so.
No, and that would make a great display.
Yeah.
That would make a great display.
Oh, I think we should sell it to someone who's going to love it.
Oh, I think so. But first,
You want to display it for a while
display it
first.
for a little bit.
The trouble is, we've
and
got to get the
enjoy.
shop back up to speed before we can display things up
Well,
there.
it'll just incentivize for a quicker build.
Yeah.
You know how you sometimes have to tick the checkbox for "I'm not a robot." You're gonna have to tick the checkbox that says "I will love this piece." I will.
That's right. There will be a very strict clause.
Yeah.
Which of these pictures is not a bullion bar?
Yeah, that's it.
We want photos of where you're going to store it, the padding.
The nice little spotlight on
Yeah,
it.
that's right. Temperature and moisture gauge there, the whole lot.
Wow.
Yeah. So look, we will sell it eventually, but I think Alex is right. We'll
Yeah.
probably display it for a little while. But just it amazes me. I've been in and around this industry for many, many years, and the things that you see crop up every so often.
Yeah.
This was bought. I was 9 years old at that point, and I was only just becoming interested in precious metals.
Wow.
So that's how old either it is or I am, depending on how you want to look at it.
Beauty. Yeah. And big kudos to Brett for really getting that.
He's good at that.
Yeah, it was, it was slight, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On borderline bullying, but no, it was good. It was worth it. It was worth it, as you can tell. No, he did a great job.
Good fun. Changing topics slightly, Ray brings up an interesting comment, and I was aware of it. It's interesting. In New Zealand, bullion dealers over there now, under the new laws, any buybacks they're required to keep for 2 weeks before they can sell them.
Cash flow situation.
Yeah, we have similar laws in Australia. It's interesting, actually, Ray, because not all of the New Zealand bullion dealers are interpreting it the same way. We have similar... I got caught up in I was going to say argument. It wasn't an argument. A discussion with a couple of bullion dealers in New Zealand about it not that long ago. And each one had a slightly different take on it. And some were holding it for 2 weeks and some were not. We have a similar law in Australia, but it doesn't apply to bullion. It only applies to scrap jewellery and things like that. So, yeah, interesting times. I want to see how it plays out over the next 6 to 12 months and if the New Zealand government or whoever is enforcing this comes out with a bit more clearer information on it. But it certainly wouldn't shock me if we don't see that come in over here. It will give me heartburn if we do, but it wouldn't shock me.
There's a few people asking why that would ever kind of enter into the realm, and it's just that like secondhand goods license. I think I've seen it in New South Wales even for like secondhand video games and things like that, and cash converters and all that kind of stuff.
It's to stop it's to limit the impact of stolen property. The theory being
it gives the owner some time to chase it.
Yeah, well, the owner or the police can come in and say, has this been sold back? It's been stolen, and it's still there, so we can actually reclaim it. But the problem with that is you're assuming that the police can get organised in 14 days and get into you, because I can tell you it's very rare that the cops turn up within 14 days. 9 times out of 10 when they come into the business, or even I'd say it's higher than that. They're chasing things from 6 or 8 or 12 months ago, not from 10 or 12 days ago.
Yeah, I was doing some police liaison work with my old job, and sometimes they'd come. Look, it all varies, but it wasn't unusual for them to come about 3 to 4 weeks later. Looking for CCTV or footage or any incident reports from security. So yeah, that's one thing. But the other thing is, you're looking when price goes up, saying people want to take profit, and they just you have a high sale, and what do you do then for 2 weeks? Then you can't.
Well, Ray's touched on it there. What's going to happen is the dealers will say that's fine. We'll lock in the price. Here's the invoice. Here's your receipt for it. You'll receive payment in 2 weeks. So they'll take the cash flow problems from themselves and pass it back to the back to the person selling.
Yeah. Wonder if that'll you see sales dwindling as well because of that.
What's your alternative?
Send it to Bullion Now.
Well, yeah, you got to. Actually, I hadn't clicked.
Pay.
We've actually had several New Zealand customers reach out to us about sellbacks. I hadn't clicked. It was because of this 14-day thing.
That's the first thing I'm thinking. Hang on, this is what would I do? I want cash quicker, or funds quicker. So
yeah, I hadn't joined the two together. That was pretty dumb, wasn't it?
Plus, we pay spot.
That's right. Well, we do pay spot, and the New Zealand market doesn't. Is my understanding. So could be.
Yeah.
There you go.
Andy wants to know how you would go proving one particular ounce kangaroo is different from another in a case like that.
That's why we are getting more of the Germania Mint black lights.
Look, in all honesty,
I think that's one of the reasons it's not on Bullion.
That's exactly
anywhere
right,
near as much
Australia.
as jewelry and things like that.
Well,
because it's a little bit more customizable.
Yeah,
knock on wood.
I mean, at the end of the day, they come in and they say, "Look, you bought it back off Bill Smith. We prosecuted Bill Smith, for stolen property. We know he came through your store and sold it there. Hand it over," type of thing. But you're right. And we've actually had this before, where we had a police officer come in and say, "Oh, look, we believe that there's been some stolen items sold back to you." And I said, "Oh, well, what are we looking for?" sort of thing. They said, "Oh, it was I won't use the company name, but it was a very well known and frequently traded company through Bullion Now, their product." And I kind of laughed, and the cop said, "Oh, this is serious. You can't laugh." And I said, "Mate," we've probably had 200 of those sold back in the last, couple of days. Like, you've got to give me something more than just, they might have sold back one of these. Like, seriously here." But, he couldn't quite grasp the fact that, one kangaroo looks like another kangaroo.
Kangaroos, thanks for narrowing it down.
Well, it may or may not have been kangaroos, but whatever it was.
Silver wallaby. You don't know.
It is what it is.
Metal Inquisitor would like an update on the unpronounceable Germania Mint product. Someone sent me a video on how to pronounce it, so thank you. Thank you for that.
I'm just sticking with Tree of Life.
Yeah.
There's no way I can pronounce that.
And also Hobart Mint products. We spoke about that a little while ago.
I haven't had any contact with Hobart Mint for the last couple of weeks. I need to reach out to them again. The unpronounceable Tree of Life arrived at 1:08 this afternoon.
Well, hang on. Sorry. Did you say someone sent you something?
On how to pronounce it.
Yeah, they did.
For it, Rubes.
Oh, no. It's disappeared into the recesses of my mind. I think it was something like it was a Y, but I think it just makes an E sound, and the rest you read normally. So I think it's egg drazzle or something. But yeah. we'll look at that video a few times before we do the unboxing video.
No. You'll look at that video a few times.
Yeah.
That's the Germanic pronunciation, is it, mate?
That's the one, yeah.
So they arrived at... it's funny because they came in and I looked at my phone to find out exactly what time they landed, because I knew I'd get asked about it, at 1:08 this afternoon. And I did not... Neither Adam or myself had time before live stream to actually process them through, get Ruben to take the photos, get the listing up and get them out the door. So it will happen very early next week. They will become available. There you go. Apparently it's Yggdrasil.
Yeah, well, see, I was right. It makes an E sound.
Thanks for that, Nemos. Oh, dear. So, now early next week, look out for those, as well as the trip to Perth Mint, or the tickets for the trip to Perth Mint.
Exciting. What do we want to look at next? There was an article someone on the BN team sent to us this week, Michael. And it's the fact that we might be losing our jobs here. Someone may have discovered a way to create gold from mercury. Again.
It would be so good if this was... it is real. It's a real article.
There's lots of different articles on it. This is just one I found. If you look up gold and mercury or something, you might have seen this circulating a bit this week. But yeah, sorry, carry on with it. Before
everyone freaks out that they're going to start manufacturing gold... If they do it through this process, it's going to drive it up to about $1 million an ounce, just to make this viable.
Yeah. I saw one on Twitter yesterday about a new bacteria that eats some toxins and poops out gold. So there you go. That's a lot of these are coming out now.
Yeah, it's like they talk about, what happens
in
if we
space.
start mining, asteroid gold and things like that. And it's like, I'm sure the technology will get there, but the expense of doing it can only do good things to the price of gold. It's just like it's not a feasible alternative, certainly in my lifetime.
Yeah,
but I would
Irish
say in
like
several.
Ponzi gold. There you go. Yep. But for me, it's also in whose lifetime.
I still don't think it's going to be even in whose lifetime. I think it's so far. I mean, technologies are advancing so much further than they used to. But I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Also, if I was the one discovering this technology, I also wouldn't be telling many people about it.
That's right.
Because that's it. It will be likely to then cause panic and potential. But I just keep just quietly running my reactor in my backyard and.
Maybe we should have the Bullion Now first coin release, gold produced from mercury.
With your effigy on it?
If you can get it through, I'll put my effigy on it, but we're going to be charging 1.5 million a coin.
All right, so we're selling it during hyperinflation times. Right? Got it.
So yeah, it is just one of those stories I think that seems to be that will come up on cycle. We'll hear about it, every now and then. And yeah, the answer always seems to be the same. The amount invested to actually do it is never actually viable. But it's still cool to see it
we
hit
still
the headlines.
even if you read the articles, how viable is it? Like it
Well,
was
that's
such a minute amount that they created, and I'm not even sure it lasted very long. I think it
split second or something.
Yeah, and then it disappeared. Like I don't understand how gold disappears. Well, yeah, I understand how gold disappears, but I don't understand how it disappears in this case. But
yeah. There was some other coins you guys had sitting in front of you, although they aren't all coins.
I don't know where we're looking. I can't see.
They're in front of Alex.
All right, here we go. So this is what you mentioned a few live streams ago about things that came in, Michael. I'll give you some. We've got 4 here as examples.
Aye.
So
we got photos of them, Rubes.
Sure do.
So these are.
I'll let you do a bit of a spiel first.
Watching between Port Augusta and Port Augusta and Woomera.
Port Augusta.
Mate, there ain't nothing there.
Hey, be nice. I lived in Port Augusta for a while.
Yeah, but halfway between Port Augusta and Woomera, there isn't anything.
Yeah.
sorry.
A few salt bushes, and that's about
I
it.
don't have to read MP's comment. My biggest fear is that if I die, that my wife will sell my bullion for what I told her I paid for it.
That's a classic across many hobbies and
yes, not just bullion.
I love it. So what Alex has dragged out now is a thing. Everyone knows what the sovereign is. Well, a lot of people will know what a sovereign is. I don't know if you want to flick this photo up, Rubes. So these are things we get into the store semi-frequently. So these ones are a little not lower quality. That's not what I'm meaning. Yeah, they've done it intentionally though with these ones, but some of them we get through.
Some of them it's very difficult to tell unless you've handled like you can sort of tell instantly, but if you've got experience handling sovereigns, gold sovereigns, but these are like you said, I believe they're made to stand out a little bit more, and they do say on isn't it on one or both sides?
No, it's on the back. On the
obverse metal. It says metal.
Yeah.
You
want to bring them up again, Rubes? Yeah, so these are what we call jeweler's copies, and you see these semi-frequently, actually, we get these sold back. And they're done intentionally. Obviously, these ones are. Even the ones that are very close to real sovereigns and you could technically be done for counterfeiting, they're done for the jewellery industry. Someone will say, look, I really want a sov from, 1892. So
when Granddad was born.
Yeah, you obviously can't, like they're not readily available, and quite often some of the older ones particularly are incredibly expensive. So they'll take a cast of them and they'll actually produce one for you and then put it into a pendant or a ring or something along those sort of lines. So we see them semi-frequently, and their gold content is usually around about the correct.
Yep.
It'll be 90, 91, 92, 93 sort of thing.
Yeah, it's around 93. It's just a little bit higher than.
Sometimes they'll be a little bit lower, but not often. More often than not, they're actually a little bit higher than what a normal sovereign is. So They're just an interesting curio that you see come through semi-frequently.
Yeah. No, yeah, and a few people asked about them before. Same as these. These are the only ones we've got in stock, and that's the 5 sovs. We had a few people ask about them. We've only got 2 5 sovs in at the moment, but I thought it's quite nice. Very weighty to it.
I thought.
More than
Have
a
you got photos
general
of
sov.
the 5 sovs?
Also do. I also thought those were interesting because there was one from the early 1900s there and also one from 2011. So you got a bit of a contrast there, but it also, there's a slightly different color toning to them as well. And that's not just in the photos there. If you look at them in person, it's also there. And I just, thought it was a little bit more coppery in the 2011 one.
Well, they did change the impure part of it. They did change the composition of it. In fact, they've done it a couple of times as they've gone through the years.
Yeah.
And they don't produce the 5 sov every year traditionally.
Right. Well, these are the only 2 of 3 examples I've only ever seen working in the shop here for the last 2 years. Yeah.
Okay, we do get them through occasionally, not hugely.
Yeah.
You see these days they produce the quarter, the half, the one, like the sov, the 2 sov and the 5 sov. But traditionally, you go back through history, some years they produced a double sov and a 5 sov. So beautiful coins. Have you got a photo with a normal sov and a 5 sov next to each other?
No.
Just to give it a size comparison.
No, because
you've got
we're sold out of sovs here.
Anyway. You've got the jeweler's copy ones there as at least a rough size comparison.
Hold them up next to each other. So the reason it's called a 5 sov is because it is literally 5 sovereigns in size.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rubes can get a close-up or a closer-up of that at all. But yeah, so you can see the difference in size there. Beautiful coins. Some of the older ones are quite sought after by collectors because there's not that many of them around and there's not that many of them in good condition. So if you've got one, it could be worth a bit.
The question people always have when we do stuff like this is what's happening with those ones?
Well, I'd assume they're for sale.
Yeah, these are all available for sale if anyone wants. Just actually, you know what? All right, I'll put it out here. Just message me direct because it'll save Sylvia and Sean a lot of headaches. You're welcome, Sylvia. All right.
How do people do that?
Okay, I'll send an email. I'll put it in the chat now. Just the email and just mention either jeweler's copy or sov or 5 sov, and then I'll respond to everyone, regardless of whether you got it or not.
So all 4,000 people need to send an email to.
Yeah, I hope not. Please, yeah. I was assuming there's only a few interested, so we'll see if I'm staying up past midnight again tonight. All right.
Spark says, "What's that book you guys have for bar and coin IDs?" That's the one by Kim Brett, the poured ingots book.
The Australian
poured
ingots, gold poured ingots or poured ingots. We don't have any copies left currently, and in fact, if Kim Brett is out there listening, mate, it'd be great if you contacted us and either we'll help you do a second edition of them, or if you've got some more, we'll actually absolutely take them off you. And circulate them around. It's a great book if you can get hold of it. Fantastic photos through it. Great research contained in it. I was retailing for about $70-$80, something like that, wasn't
$95.
$95.
And higher.
Yeah.
We had it at $95. That's the recommended retail price, but there were others selling it, especially when they first came out, for a lot higher than that as well.
Yeah. Well, honestly, for $95, I think it's a screaming bargain for the information that's in there, the quality of the photos and the research that's gone into it and all that sort of stuff. He's done an amazing job with it. So can't recommend it highly enough. And there's very little about the Australian market out there. So to have something as in-depth as this. And it was interesting being over in Perth after this was released, where he's got quite a lot of information in there about the Perth Mint, like historical information that he'd researched both over at Perth and in other places. And the Perth Mint guys are now using it as a reference. They're saying, "Oh, I didn't know that about our own company," and they're using it as a reference over there. So
and even in that book, you don't find very many examples of bar pouches. surviving bar pouches. So
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Look, we do get a couple of variations on that throughout the year of the pouches, but we don't see many of them either, to be completely honest.
How does one keep an inventory of stacks?
Oh, that's a great question, Karen.
I'll let you know once Con sends me his spreadsheet. Okay.
I know a lot of people use spreadsheets, like Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
A few people have gone all out and programmed their own that keeps live spot prices and that sort of stuff. And there was a website that you could subscribe to that I've forgotten the name of.
Goldsilverstacker.com.
Yeah. So you get a membership there. I couldn't tell you how much it costs. I think they used to do it free for a while or for a certain amount or something along those sort of lines. And that was quite good. That gave you plenty of information and the ability to track your real-time pricing on your stack. So that's another version of it.
But yeah, a lot of people will just keep an Excel spreadsheet or something like that. But it's if someone wanted a little bit more of that interactive kind of a already set up thing, yeah, can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
There's a few people having a go at you, Alex, before I saw, and James also says here, why is there not many buyback bars specifically, they say, but there was a few people saying before, why aren't you putting up more buybacks on the website, Alex?
Yeah, come on, Alex.
I can
what are you playing at?
answer that. Adzi, if you're listening. No, I actually put aside, we both put aside some stuff, and I don't know if you got a chance to put up, there's been a few buybacks. My understanding was that they went up, possibly knowing Adzi that he did put it up, and they sold. We didn't have that many come through, but we did put some aside in, I think, 2 ounce, 10 ounce silver buybacks in both bars and coins, and as well as 1/10 gold and a couple 1/20ths as well. But again, it's not that many that came through, so they may have just gone up and just quickly gone as well. But I will follow that up after stream, just in case he hadn't. So yeah, check it out again at around between 4 to 4:30.
The other problem with buybacks is we list them and they go so fast.
Well, that's the thing, and this is why I'm assuming Ads did put it up, because I did tell him a few days ago, save it till before the stream, put it up so we don't get questions like this. But I'll double check with him anyway.
Two-wheeled life.
Sorry, here we go. Sorry. Yeah, Irish luck. Alex is sitting on the buybacks with his pay increase from Michael. No, there's a few put aside, but not nowhere near that many.
He splashed out big on the platinum the other week.
Oh, actually, that's another thing we don't know on these. On the non-bullion.
Two-wheeled life has got a very cracked capsule for his Lunar Dragon. Any recommendations on a good place to source a replacement?
Which one is it?
That was the question I asked.
Yeah.
And I was going to wait for an answer before I went back to that.
Oh, you actually asked it, did you?
Yes.
In the chat, yeah. So we have access to some, mate. So if you want to flick through what size it is and whether it's gold or silver, and the year, because if it's a Series 2, it's a different size to the Series 3 and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah, Series 2 is more difficult to acquire than the Series 3.
So if you let us know who, what, where and when, we'll see if we can source one for you, mate.
He's narrowed it down to the year and the metal type. Now we just need to know the size of the actual...
2024 silver.
Yeah. We just
half
need to
ounce,
know.
1 ounce, 5 ounce, 10 ounce. Oh, no, 2024. Wouldn't be a 5 ounce. No, it would be a 5 ounce, no 10 ounce. Kilo or 10 kilo, mate. And prices vary, because if it's a 10 kilo, you're talking triple digits to get hold of a capsule.
Nemo's off. Thanks for stopping by.
Hey, Nemo.
Thanks for tuning in.
Shane says, I have a question. Feel free to ask it. That's what we're all about here. Do we have Perth Mint cook capsules for people to purchase, 1 ounce?
We do.
Which ones?
The Kookaburra, the 1 ounce cook. We don't have the squares, but I'm pretty sure we've got some of the rounds.
Oh, yeah, definitely not the squares.
We don't have an infinite number of them. We're happy to replace a capsule here and there, but don't write in and say, hey, I need 100 of these. Kookaburra to be, I'm assuming it's a 1 ounce.
Oh. I'll have to have a look. I'll have to ask Adzi.
The question from Shane is, how's your health, Michael?
Well, I've just come back off holiday, apparently.
Okay, when Michael goes on holiday,
He just
This
works
is for
with a
Katie,
different
right?
backdrop.
It's a work holiday, okay? And it's probably more work than holiday because we do hear your voice a lot while you're away. So.
I do joke about the fact that I didn't really go on holiday. I just moved my office. And look, to a degree that's true, and to a degree it's not. Like I did kick back and hang out with the kids quite a bit. Played plenty of board games during the and card games. Well, more card games than board games. While the blizzards were on, got out in the snow at other times. So I did do a lot. I was saying to someone this morning, I was away for 2 weeks, and it was the final weekend where I stopped waking up before 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So it took a while to break that routine, just in time to have to start it again.
And
I
you're
might
back.
add. Yeah, that's right. Look, the trouble is, to a large degree, I love what I do. I have to admit, it has been getting stressful lately, opening and renovating all the shops and what's going on in the background. But yeah, it's great, Shane.
I was going to ask.
My health is better than then, but that's because I've had a pacemaker fitted. So Shane Lampard says, first time I met Michael, he hit the ground unconscious. So I went through a period there where...
we haven't really talked about that.
No, we haven't. So I'm pretty sure I remember the time he's talking about. We were just about to open the shop and I scared the living daylights out of poor old Con. But I was standing there talking to him, and we've got at that stage, we had a swinging door on the end of our counter, and I could feel my head start to spin. So I grabbed the only thing in front of me, which was this door, and of course it was a swinging door. So I went over, and the door didn't stop me from going over. I went straight over backwards and stuck my head through the plaster wall behind me. So for many months, there was a piece of A4 paper stuck over a head-shaped size hole in the wall. I'm better since then because I've had a pacemaker fitted. I was having electrical problems with the reading between my brain and my heart at that point. So my health is okay.
Sounds like you need another holiday.
What I actually need to do is lose the weight, not have the holiday.
Well, sorry about the buttocks on Friday. That's not helping all the pastry.
But it's all good fun. Look, I enjoy. I'm retired. If I'm completely honest, I retired many years ago. I do this because I love it. So I don't. There's very few days where I think, I have to go to work, because I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
Have you read GR's comment?
Hey?
You need a second assistant.
I do. Is the short answer.
The other thing, I'm taking us back off that train. Sorry for everyone that was enjoying that, but the DT's comment there. The problem with when we start talking about capsules is people start going, "Oh yeah, I need one for the Queen's Beast." There's some of those ones that we get a little bit too specific with some of them, and it's just a bit hard to, because not only then is it just a 10-ounce capsule, it's the 10-ounce Royal Mint, and then there'll be.
Well, if that's the Queen's Beast completer, the rectangular one. That's the bar.
The 10-ounce. No, sort of. Well, it could be the bar or the coin. Yeah. So.
Yeah, some of them we just, while we can probably get them, they are so expensive and difficult that unless somebody's incredibly keen on us getting one, and by that I mean, we'll pay up front.
I think that,
we don't tend to
honestly,
chase, chase them.
That I had a chat with someone, and there was quite a few people that said, actually, yeah, we'd be willing to pay up front for them. There's a big desire for capsules for some of those uncapsulable items.
Oh, well, maybe we should. Maybe we should.
It's just a bit hard to get some of them organised because they are all so different. There's a couple of really good questions that have come through there. When are we going to see another spot special? That's a good one.
Pass. Don't know. When somebody comes up with a good idea and says we should do this as a spot special.
I'll do the sovs at spot special.
Roxy's dad. Hi guys, wondering if you have any more news about the new Wonka bar availability, differences from the first. How big is the mintage, and will you let the first buyers have first dibs? That one is a comment that I regret you making so early into the piece, because I've had lots of people asking about.
Look, we
the
don't
Wonka
until we
bars.
get further details on it. We don't know what we're doing, so I'll let you know when you know.
For sure. We can launch into a where in the world is that Bullion Now bag? We've had a couple of submissions for this week, so let me play the theme tune if I can find where it's hiding. There we go.
Where in the world is that Bullion Now bag? Where could it be? Can you guess? Let's see.
So we have our viewers send in submissions from wherever they are in the world. We get some local ones from further afield, of some of the places our beautiful Bullion Now bags end up. We have the first one here. I'm going to leave that sit on the screens for a second. I almost think I need to ban you guys from answering straight away on some of these ones, just in
Well, I actually don't know where this one is.
just in
I
case.
haven't been there in a while. Is that Frankston Pier?
It is not. Mental Inquisitor says Bali. I'm not sure if that's because they saw it or if they were just getting an early guess in before it before it actually popped up. I know at least one viewer will know where this is, because it was somewhere.
They sent it in.
Well, that too. Okay, I'll go for at least two, because it's somewhere I went on holiday. Elias has got it. Port Campbell.
I was gonna say up towards the 12 Apostles. It's a bit further.
Yeah, a little bit further along. Went and saw that on my Australia tour.
Where's Port
Campbell.
Yeah, is that
Up west.
west? Okay.
So I used to fly tourists around there
Wow.
100 years ago. Back when aeroplanes basically first started.
Still have your biplane?
Alrighty. Next up, we have this one here.
Oh, I like that shot.
Going European-ish.
All right, is that Amsterdam?
No.
London?
No, there isn't a whole lot of context here, so I'll yeah. Tasmania for JMac,
Yeah, I could see it in Tassie, particularly down Hobart way.
Edinburgh, a few guesses there. None of them, you might have got them with this one. This one is actually just down the road. It is
seriously?
St Paul's Cathedral car park towards the western side.
Huh.
So you walk, you've walked around that one a fair bit.
Many
Same
times.
same submission as the person who submitted the one from the other week in front of the toilets just next to the Melbourne Town Hall.
Oh, there you go. Fantastic.
Keeping us on our toes.
2 word live guess St Paul's Cathedral. I'm not sure if that was before or after I said what it was, but yeah, nice. All right, and this last one here. Not necessarily expecting you to know the exact suburb or anything with this one, so I'll settle for a country. If that's a clue. Yeah.
I was going with Australia,
Yep.
so obviously I'm wrong.
Northern Ireland.
No. Someone says Pakenham. Myrtleford, no. Ospringer, first one there. New Zealand.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. This
There you
is
go.
Puketapu.
I
Thank
barely
you.
recognised it.
Thank you very much for including a pronunciation guide for me.
Should have guessed it from the choice photo.
Yeah, that's right. Bro.
So yeah, thank you to everyone who sent in submissions for this week. We love to see them, and yeah, if you have any others or are going on a holiday, like someone said they were going to the Middle East earlier, send them through to live@bullionnow.com.au.
I've got someone sent me as well, that when you were away, so I'll post those as well. Yep.
Lolly Bread, my wife would not agree with you.
Oh, is that a beard comment? Yeah. Nah, I agree with Lolly Bread. Yeah.
I've got to tell you, I need that haircut. This is doing my head in.
It's
So-
keeping you warm during winter.
I cancelled the haircut on Tuesday night because we wanted to do some snow filming. And haven't had a chance to do it since. So I'm going to have to join the chaos of a Saturday trying to get a haircut.
All right. There was a question here before from Stephen asking if we could have a dedicated buybacks page on the website.
I want to know what a Chully Bun and Jandals is.
What?
I don't know if I've gone out on a limb by saying that. Two-wheeled life, just missing the Chully Bun and Jandals.
You have to say it with a Kiwi accent.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Sorry, Rubes, you asked something and I completely ran over you.
Stephen wanted to know if we could have a dedicated buybacks page on the website. So what we currently have is the individual buyback pages where you can go into platinum buybacks, silver buybacks, gold buybacks, but wants to know if we can have a buybacks page.
I'll make a note of that and talk to the.
I can pretty much guarantee you it's not going to get done until we do the upgrade to the website, which is a couple of months away.
Yeah, but I'll still make a note of that and follow that up. Okay.
Just had another submission in for the Where in the World is that Bullion Now bag, so I will add that one to the list for next week.
Up.
Alrighty, Matt just saying just search buyback in the search bar, they'll all come up. There was a little parcel to the other side of the box there, Michael, that came in for you and you specifically. I wasn't sure if you wanted to open that up on stream or not.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was it. I said almost because the top of it had very strict instructions to make sure it came to you and only you. I kind of wanted to do this as a bit of a proof of life. Look, he received it.
I love it.
Yeah. I opened it. I read it. I didn't touch it. I just put it in a desk.
So this is labelled, is your name Michael? No. Do you own Bullion Now? No. Do not open me. Take me to your leader. That was very clever. And I very much appreciated the gift inside. So for those that are curious, you'll have to wait till late. No, I'll show you now. So it is an altimeter clock. So there you go. We thought we were going to get away with a live stream without mentioning aviation. Now we now have an altimeter clock on there, which is very cool.
Oh, that is super cool.
It is. Oh, sorry, it's not an altimeter. It's an airspeed indicator. Look closer.
It still reminds me of playing Flight Simulator 2 on the old Atari XE. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very cool. I was very impressed when that came through. So thank you very much for the person who sent that through to me.
Haven't actually seen them in chat, so they might have to. I'm sure they'll catch it though.
Yeah, good stuff.
There was a few people right at the start of the stream, Michael, wanting you to have a bit of a comment on platinum and what's happening. We're up past 2,143 in Australian dollars right now.
Yep, it's hit the peak. Everyone needs to get out. No, look, I still don't think it's gone high enough. I'm just actually bringing it up right now on a live price. So we're sitting at 21.40 right at this moment. As I said a couple of weeks ago, I started banging on about platinum back when it was between $800 and $1,000 Australian per ounce. It had been heavily hammered because of the bad publicity that it had over the Dieselgate incident with VW. Coincidentally, at the same time, because platinum and palladium are very interchangeable metals, a lot of the automotive industry was moving over to palladium because it was so much cheaper than platinum was at that point. All these things kind of, it's that perfect storm scenario. All these things kind of struck together, and that brought the price down from being above gold price to less than half of gold price at that point. And it was totally unjustified. It was purely just that, like as I said, that perfect storm that caused it. Platinum and palladium both are difficult metals to mine, difficult metals to refine, difficult metals to turn into what you need to turn them into, and becoming more and more popular with the newer technologies and medicines that are coming out every single year as we move forward. And the more that governments push us towards, that carbon neutral being green scenario, both platinum and palladium are going to be major players or are major players in those technologies. So I would argue there is not an argument against platinum and its increasing price. It's taken a few years. Admittedly, that was a few years ago when I started first banging on about it. We've seen it climb steadily since that point, or gradually since that point. And then in the last couple of months, we've seen it rapidly accelerate. Will it go any higher? I suspect it will. Will it go any higher tomorrow? I don't know. I don't play the day-to-day markets anymore. I stopped doing that many years ago. I think we're absolutely going to see it higher in 6 months' time and in 12 months' time, in 2 years' time and in 5 years' time. I am fairly convinced, and this is not financial, none of this is financial advice. I need to be clear on that. I'm not qualified to give financial advice, and I'm not your financial advisor either. I don't know your situation, so I can't give you that sort of advice. But for myself, for my investing portfolio, I'm absolutely looking for it to at least equal the gold price, if not exceed gold price, because that traditionally is where it should be, or where it's been. There are some negatives to platinum. It is a niche metal. Not every bullion dealer deals in platinum. It is that little bit harder to buy and sell. Because it's more difficult to work with, it carries in a physical form, it carries higher premiums where you might be paying 50, 60, 70, 80, even $100 or $150 an ounce for gold over spot price because of manufacturing costs and things like that. With platinum, I don't think you're ever paying less than $100 over spot, but frequently you're paying that, high 100s, low 200s, even for basic bullion, because it is much harder to work with. It is much harder to produce a presentable product. It is more difficult to sell. You talk to the average person in the street, you say, I've got a gold bar, they go, wow. You say, I've got a platinum bar, they go, you what? It's not as easy to liquidate. It's not, gold you can take to any country in the world, and there's basically a bullion dealer on pretty much every street corner in every capital city around the world. I am exaggerating there, but you know what I mean. There's always someone that's going to buy your gold. Platinum, maybe not. It is that degree harder. So it's not all beer and Skittles or sunshine and roses, depending on how you want to look at it. It does have its negatives, but it's certainly, if you're wanting to move or to diversify away from your gold and silver, or you're happy to move into the more niche areas, or you just like it, platinum is certainly something I would suggest that you research. And as I said, for me, it is certainly something that I invest in because I believe it's got some good long-term, potential. Palladium there, Ian Marsh has jumped me to it. I was going to mention, or beat me to it, I was going to mention palladium as well. In almost any other country other than Australia, I would be pushing palladium as well as platinum. Unfortunately, in this country, palladium incurs GST. So it just makes it that 10% dearer. So it's got to move 10%, like the spot price has to move 10% just to cover that extra tax on it to get you back into a neutral position, even before we start talking premiums and those types of things. So I do love the story behind palladium as well. Again, this is not financial advice. If you're overseas, it's certainly going to carry more weight. In Australia, the fact that it incurs GST doesn't make it a no. It just means be aware that you're going to pay GST on it. And
some people asked about palladium last week, and we did get some more and put them on the site. I don't know if it's still there or they've already sold, but that's the 1 ounces, and we're getting some smaller... Yeah, some fractional stuff some fractional palladium coming in as well. Yeah, which is great. Even a year or two ago, it was... I'm going to say you never saw it, but I'm sure there was some out there. It's very rare that you saw fractional palladium particularly, but even fractional platinum. Whereas now there is, because of the increased price and increased interest, we are starting to see some manufacturers actually produce some fractionals at still ridiculous prices if you're comparing it to a 1 ounce, but actually I didn't think it was that expensive considering it was fractional stuff. So we should have some of that within the next week or two. You should see that on our website. I didn't ask. I just ordered. I'll put some away for me. Yeah. So anyway, that's my soapbox moment on platinum and palladium.
Got a message from Kim and Annie there, and it's kind of a little bit reminiscent of something we saw a few years ago, but I'm starting to see it resurface a little bit again. And it says, what's your take on the reports that the LBMA is running critically low on silver? And we've seen a little bit of the silver squeeze mentality emerge again, where people are trying to almost force the hand of organizations like the LBMA and say, well, hey, they don't actually have the physical silver there to back it, so let's buy up all the physical silver and, you know, see the difference between the real spot price versus the spot price.
Yeah. First of all, the Fox, you're welcome. I'm glad you listened on that one. And then, like... this always worries me when we start talking about, you know, the run on the LBMA and that type of stuff, because you got to understand the size of the market there. It is horrendously massive compared to a lot of other things. To cause a run on it would be, it's not impossible, but it's one of those statistically very challenging things to do. Look, we see silver squeezes and gold squeezes on the market naturally anyway. Are we going through one at the moment? I can tell you that silver, several of our suppliers are finding it difficult to source silver. It's not that they can't source it, it's that there might be very long lead times in sourcing it. So I know one manufacturer in particular that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, they've been out of silver for a good 2 months, might even be 3 months now. And getting hold of some more has proven challenging at decent prices. Some of the other refineries are doing okay, and places like the Perth Mint that have got very established sources are doing just fine and dandy. Will we see a further tightening? It wouldn't surprise me with the conversations I'm having within the industry. And it wouldn't shock me to see a more serious squeeze come up over the next couple of months. Am I calling Bullion Now is not going to be able to get hold of any silver for a while? I don't believe that's coming, but certainly we have and we will see more of. We can't get hold of that particular bar, but we can still get hold of silver. So you might want a XYZ bar, and we can say, well, look, we can get you one of those, but it might be a 3-month wait, or you can have another brand, and you can have it right now. So we're not seeing the fact that there won't be any out there, but we are seeing tightening up in certain areas.
I had a really quick article. I don't think it'll be one that will take too long on, because I did briefly mention this one to you earlier this week, Michael. But Desi showed it to me this week, and it's one from Sky News. And I'll fling it up on the screen there. It says, money that can expire. RBA laying groundwork for a dystopian financial reality where money is given a brain and then the switch is handed to someone else. And there's a few things further down in the article, and it talks, money with logic built in, money that can be told what to do or not to do, money that carries conditions, parameters, instructions, money that stops being neutral. And it goes into the fact that it's not trying to be a scare piece on the topic. I think it becomes that naturally.
Its heading is encouraging that naturally.
Yes. What are your thoughts on it? Is it something that is going to be a reality for us in the near future? Because I don't think it's crazy of me to say that at some stage we will be moving towards that or something like that. It's more of a case of when. Is it something that's on the near horizon?
I would say in some ways it's already here. Talk to any bullion dealer who has been debanked, or any person that's been debanked. They can tell you relatively quickly that money has an on-off switch. So in some ways it's already here. In other ways it's not, and it is a little dystopian. We have discussions semi-frequently about these types of things, and whether they're going to introduce you can only spend your money in your area. We're going to turn it off if you're Victorian and you travel to New South Wales, you can't use your money up there, or it's worth less up there. These types of things, if they wanted to, what's it called, geo-gating you into a certain area. Look, all these things are technologically possible, but I would argue they're not technologically likely. I don't think governments at this point in life are that keen on it. Not to say they never will, but they won't. At this stage, the RBA came out relatively recently. I think while I was up in the snow, we talked about this.
We did.
Where the RBA's come out and said, we're not going to do this on a retail level. We are going to introduce, I always get this the wrong way around, CBDCs. We're going to introduce them on a wholesale level, dealing with banks and certain financial institutions. But we're not going to do it on a retail level. So they're already starting to steer away from that dystopian, we control your money. Doesn't mean that they'll always do that, and certainly the technologies are there more and more. You have a discussion with people about cryptocurrencies. One of my arguments against Bitcoin, and I don't want to go into a whole ream of, the lovers and haters of cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin, but my argument has always been there is no use for Bitcoin because if you were going to use a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is dumb. You can't do anything with it. You would be far better off using even first or second generation cryptocurrencies where you can use the smart contract, i.e., Ruben's trying to sell me a house. I'm going to pay him in Ethereum, but the condition of the sale is that he paints the house green, and that currency, that cryptocurrency in this example, doesn't go to Ruben until he satisfies the requirement of that smart contract between the two of us. So they're the sorts of, and like Ethereum's only second generation, we're probably up to fifth or sixth generation now on cryptocurrency. So there is also those things are already there and already in place that could be activated pretty much immediately. So I've probably stepped around a lot of this question, but they're the sort of things you need to think about when you read these articles, without running straight down the worry line. Go, well, in some ways it's already here, in other ways it's not. If they were going to move to it, they would have already. They're not giving indications that they're going that way. In fact, if anything, they're giving indications that they're stepping back from that precipice. But it could still happen in the future, and you need to be prepared for it in your life in some form.
I love your optimism, Michael, because I'd go down the other way only because this is more so with CBDCs, the central CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, because they are fully programmable. They're not like cryptos in that regard as much, because you can put in, and they've talked about this, and different central banks have talked about this. Lynette Zhang's covered this at some length as well about programmable money. If they want to stimulate the economy and give you some stimulus. That can put whatever time limit on it, so it devalues that portion of what you received, and it can go in whatever percentage and whatever time scales. You can set. They even talked about setting limits, like last time when we had the lockdowns and say 5K radius and that. So it won't also work outside of your programmed areas. So, but again, that's as far as we know, that's not happening now, but it is on their radar, and I'm watching for it. But again, how am I protecting against that? By what I'm doing now.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's what you can do. Look, let's move into this mythical world where we've got a benevolent dictator who's always looking after the best in mind for us at all times. These types of inventions are actually very, very good for a society where the government, as you said, can say, well, look, we're going through, we want to pump up the economy, we're going through tough times, we want to stimulate things, so let's program the currency to be worth $1.20 per dollar instead of, just that dollar to dollar. Well, we actually need to tighten it. So, they can reduce it. It gives them these tools that they could use easily and a lot more simply. Now, please don't jump on me. I'm not advocating this by any means. I'm living in a mythical, benevolent dictator world where everything's done for the betterment of me, not what we currently see with governments nowadays. But, you know, it has some advantages. Everyone is upset about CBDCs and, you know, what these things can cause. We covered them, funnily enough, last year when I was up in the snow. They had done a trial with a CBDC for the first time in Australia on a commercial basis, where they were selling cattle with CBDCs, and it actually meant that the whole CBD contained all the technical data in regards to the cattle, when they were born, what breed they were, their family history, the traits of the breed of those particular cattle, so fat scores and all that sort of stuff was all contained in their CBDC that had been used to purchase or sell, depending on which end of the transaction you were, these cattle. Like, as I can tell you as an ex-farm boy, fantastic, you know, that you can get that information and it's permanently attached to that cow. So you've got the history there. So there are some really, really good uses for these types of things. Equally, there are some very evil uses for these types of things, and we need to be careful of that. But you can say that about almost anything out there, and you need to be very aware of both the pluses and the minuses and plan for both.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see your point with that, and that's one of the benefits. My thing is that it's like when people make you pay with card only, right? It takes away that choice. So if that was alongside cash still, and you've got general cryptos or like bank cards or transfers, I wouldn't have an issue. But it's that thought of just switching primarily to CBDCs, that's more of an issue that I have with. It's taking away your choice.
Absolutely, and like I said, there are pluses and minuses. You've got to plan for both, and you know, heaven help us if we're forced into one way or another. It comes back to the older armor guard thing and cash. You know, where they're showing. I don't know if anyone's been reading the news about armor guard recently, but the RBA is looking for special legislation that they can compulsorily, I can never say this word, compulsorily acquire armor guard effectively. Yeah. And obviously Lindsay Fox is not overly impressed with that. But, you know, like, we are using cash less and less. If the government comes out tomorrow, though, and says no more cash, like, you know, I'll be one of the first at the head of the queue saying, are you kidding me here? Yeah. But having said that, I don't believe in going cashless, but the alternatives that we do have for cash, all of us, and I'd almost guarantee every single person on this chat or listening to this afterwards, uses those forms. You know, they pay by credit card or FPOS, they tap with their phone or their watch. They make bank transfers, EFTs over the web, all those types of things. When I say we all do it, I'm sure there's one or two that say, not me, but basically 99.9% of the population does it, and it's incredibly convenient.
Use it or lose it.
Yeah,
and we're using it less and less.
Well, I actually reckon we've hit the bottom and we're ticking up the other way.
Yeah.
Talking to people in the banking industry, certainly in our business and things like that, I would actually argue people are becoming conscious of exactly what you just said there, Rubes. And I actually think people are actively starting to use cash and generate it more and more and more. So I think I've got absolutely no data to back this up, other than just a gut feel of what I'm hearing and seeing around the traps. But I actually think we've bottomed out and we're starting to. I don't think we're ever going to go back to 60 or 70% transactions cash, but I also don't think we're going to disappear into nothathingness. I think we've bottomed out and we're starting to come up.
It's the vibe.
Yeah,
it's the vibe.
Thanks to Catherine Austin Fitz. I love her work, and she promotes the Cash Fridays. And so encourages everyone to just, if you just want to start, just go on Fridays and just pay everything in cash. And even if you do a card, then make sure you transfer that out and do another day just for that transaction. But you get into the habit of paying in cash and supporting your local businesses as well, like smaller businesses, especially when you pay them in cash, and avoid all those bank fees.
Yeah, I'm with Brad Kay there. He says, I have 4 girls, I don't see cash. That's my biggest problem with using cash, is that I know that I've got a couple of $100 in my wallet, and I'll go, I'll pay for cash for that, and I open it up and the kids have already raided the wallet and there's nothing left in there but moths.
Wow, that's funny. I'll do the opposite. I go Miller's like,
man. fact, I had to laugh not that long ago, and I think I mentioned this once before, but kids, I've still got 2 kids at in the school system. The rest have left now, but both of them were going on school excursions. And as I dropped them off at school, I said, either of you boys need cash? No, don't worry about it, Dad. We've got your cards on our phone. It's like, what?
Yeah, no cards for her. No cards for her.
Sorry to do it, but I actually need to start winding us down. We're getting close to an hour 40 already.
Oh, what? Wow. Oh, wow. It's after 4 o'clock.
Yes.
I didn't think it was even 3:30
Well,
yet.
I'll cover these next time.
Yeah, I was going to say, Alex had another...
Yeah, you should see what's in that box. Oh, man. Now we have to wait a week to go through it.
Yeah. I've got 2 tubs here, not 1. But anyway.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do mad questions.
Some rapid fire questions.
50 questions in
And
15
no
seconds.
questions of what's in the box, all right?
Yes, that's right.
So, if you had a question that we didn't answer or you were saving one to this, we will endeavour to answer all of them before the stream ends, just so that we get through everything.
Lolly bread, we are seeing that right now.
I was just going to answer Lolly Bread. Just for everyone else, guys, do you think we'll see a time when ounces give way to grams, given digital systems? I'm doing grams now more than I'm doing ounces. Picking up grams in platinum, grams in gold. Yeah.
Well, even down to like the standard
And
size.
silver.
Ruben's rolling his eyes now because he's trying to
Semi-rapid
wind
fire
us up.
already.
But we always ounces were still were the most popular size and still are very, very popular. 20-gram bars from Perth Mint, the minted bars. We sold a few, but you never really ordered more than a couple of boxes. Boxes 25. You never kind of ordered more than a couple of boxes out of Perth, and that'd last you a few weeks, sort of thing. Whereas now we can't get enough 20-gram bars in. They are just going like mad. Ounces are still more popular, but obviously once they kicked over that $5,000, everyone moved down to the 20-grammers. Sorry, Rubes.
Oh, good. Phil says, is there a size diameter difference between a 1-ounce gold coin and a 2-ounce gold coin?
Yes.
Bullion Dog says, finally had a tradie take cash this week. For years, they've all said no to cash from me.
What?
Seriously? Come down our way. They run over you trying to
you're
get
in
to the cash.
southeast or the west or
Next Perth Mint Bullion release.
I honestly, it's Friday afternoon and I'm just about shot. I can't remember.
No. Not sure.
Delita just says bimetal eagle, koala, and rectangular dragon proofs, etc.
I don't know what the question is.
Bimetal.
I think when are they coming out?
Don't know. Koala's already out. Rectangular dragon proofs were released. Oh no, next month. Sorry, I've just done the order for them for next month for LCS. So they are in next month.
Not sure if we're going to be able to help on this one. Any advice or recommendations on which stockbroker app to use for more frequent trading with gold ETFs?
Talk to me off camera.
What's our SMSF storage costs?
0.66% including GST.
What are our thoughts on osmium?
I don't have any. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'll push Michael to have a look at him with the next copper imports. We'll see what happens.
Good luck.
Any 10-ounce bars for buyback after the show?
There was before the show.
I'll have a look. Like I said, I'll check the website, and if it hasn't been listed, I'll list it. But chances are it's been listed and sold.
Michael, where did you say Bullion Now gets their spot price from?
Oh, crap.
Infusion.
Infusion, thank you.
Confusion.
Yeah. Infusion supplies all of ours. They're one of the biggest suppliers in the world now. They do most of the exchanges and things like that, and Kitco, etc.
Did man really land on the moon?
Don't know. It wasn't there. It's before my time.
Yeah, that's a Friday night fireside chat.
Yeah, I read some interesting stuff about the Chinese going to the moon and things like that as well. So,
is there an explanation on your website of how unallocated works and the charges, i.e. buying, selling, and redeeming for physical?
yes, there is.
Have you seen the next lunar horse?
Yes, I have.
No, I haven't.
What's with the purple crowns with asterisks and number?
Beats me.
That's a reward system that's not ours. That's by YouTube, and they're doing it on a few
do
places
you get
where
it?
it's
It's
automatic.
It's the top
for
fans.
live chat for
Yeah.
how many people comment, and then it's like it ranks like how many people are commenting.
So you're number 2 or number 3
Yeah,
ranking
yeah.
in the system. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Is the world running out of silver?
Is who?
Is the world?
I don't believe we're running out yet.
Running out, probably yes. Run out, no.
You just melt down the old stuff and go again.
But silver gets used up, unlike
Yeah.
gold.
Which spot price chart do you use?
Depends what I'm trying to achieve, but quite often I use either the one on our site or Infusion or Kitco. They're the main ones I use.
Can I swap silver for half-ounce gold?
Yes.
You essentially just sell it back and then buy some, yeah.
Yeah.
Any Germania 1 ounce in 1 gram bars?
As
Grand,
in...
or, the 100 by ones, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
they
guess
only
so, yeah.
produce 100 by ones that I'm aware of, not ounces by ones.
There was a question from last week that I can't remember if I asked you. Can we harass Perth to update their mintage number list because they haven't done it in years?
The short answer is I'll try. The longer answer is probably no.
Michael, in hindsight, did the customer who converted 2 1 kilo bars of gold to 1,600 1 grammers do the right thing?
Yeah. Interesting, because that conversation came up in the back rooms today.
Yeah, I think I got
GR, have you got our place bugged?
No, I think I got it recommended as a video as well, so I think it might be just doing the rounds again. Ash's cricket prediction.
Go the Aussies.
Who watches cricket?
Do you get
Excuse me?
gold mice in much these days?
Sometimes.
Yeah, we got traps for most of them.
Sometimes.
Cat
Yeah.
eats some.
Any chance to bring in the Royal Mint Gothic Crown 1 ounce gold bar?
Actually, I think we've got a mouse in at the moment. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Sorry, who's Gothic Gold Bar?
Royal Mints.
Raw mint, yeah.
There is a chance. Not a big one, but there is a chance.
Why did gold fall so sharply on Wednesday?
I'm trying to remember back to Wednesday.
Yeah, it's been a long week.
Oh, I can't remember. I'm really sorry. Can't remember.
Is there any gold nuggets for sale in the store?
Yes, there is.
They're just a bit difficult because we don't have any display. Well, we've got the foundations of the displays, but yeah, we don't have them up where they were. Any update on Royal Mint Thor 20 gram gold bars?
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
ask me next week and I'll put the feelers out.
Where do you guys go to get coffee or hot chocolates? There you go. That's all you, Alex.
Yeah, it's not me. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, basically within a 2-minute walk, anything around 2-minute walk. But
Everyone gets
yeah.
them from
It's
different
different
stores.
places, yeah.
And I think it also varies on depending on how much they need to get out of the office for a while.
Yeah. And depending on lines, that will change. Because if we go regular and then you see there's a line, we just go somewhere else. But there's a few around.
Susan says, can we place an order online, then pay by taking cash to bank to pay via an invoice?
You can. The banks don't like it, but there's no reason you can't do it.
Water Monkey says, if I have 1 ounce of unallocated gold, can I use it to redeem for 5 gram physical gold? What happens to my unallocated balance?
It goes in our Christmas fund.
I was going to say coffee fund.
What I would have to do in that situation, I think currently with how it's set up, and hopefully this may change in the future, but would have to sell back the ounce out of unallocated and then give the remainder to them in cash. But then they would lose the remainder in the unallocated.
Yeah, we could do it that way. You can also just put the balance back into
And then
unallocated
back in,
as grams. So you wouldn't lose it. We'd just swear and curse a bit in the back end because it takes a bit of mucking around, but we'd sort it out and you'd end up with 5 grams off your 1 ounce of unallocated gold.
Mel's unsubbing because they watch cricket. Alex, you've just offended someone.
Along with Mel, I'm unsubbing too.
Sorry, not English.
James says, please add function to set limit buy price on the website.
Yeah, that's something we do need to do.
If you are getting the Royal Mint Gothic 1 ounce gold bar, who can I contact to pre-order?
No pre-orders until I get confirmation that we're actually getting them.
But just to answer your question, the pre-orders can go through sales at once it's
once
confirmed.
we're firing, we'll work out how to
Yes.
do it at that point. But yeah, at this stage,
Any-
hold your fire. I've got to confirm we're getting them first.
Any Royal Mint new packaging bars coming?
Yes, but I can't give you a time frame on that yet.
And we're at the bottom of the list. We've got Drone Eye thanking us for the speedy delivery of their 1 ounce Thor bars received this week.
You're
And
more than welcome.
that's it for the questions.
Good stuff. I'm now feeling it. I've just hit the wall, I think.
Hang on.
Hey, I've got no
there's
hot
a
chocolate
little
left.
bit.
So as we say frequently, like this would never be anything unless you guys joined in. So we cannot thank you enough for viewing it. For those that comment, it's great. For those that don't comment, they stay in the background. It's still great. And for those that watch later on over the weekend, into next week, or even into next year or the year after, you are the ones that actually make this thing worthwhile and functioning. We just sit up the front and have a bit of a laugh and a gas bag. So again, thank you very, very much for tuning in and spending the time with us. It does mean a great deal to us. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend coming up if it's your weekend. Yeah. And if not, enjoy it anyway.
Yeah, and just want to say shout out to Eric. Thank you for coming down. Thank you for the lovely email as well. It was great to meet someone they've been dealing with for a while on Twitter, through Bullion Now Twitter. And it was great to meet you. And yeah, thanks for the kind words.
And whoever paid for the hot chocolates and coffees today,
yeah,
thank you very much.
Shout out to Plume. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's still going. Yeah.
The other things we said, early next week we will have hopefully a video explaining what the go is with the Perth Mint tour.
Yes.
What else did we promise? There was something else we said would be coming out early next week.
We're releasing the...
what was the pronunciation again?
Yes, the Tree of Life. That's the other one. Yeah. So stay tuned for those. Surely, Alex, you let the other confetti cannon thing go before the end of the stream. Just as a
hang on, who's cleaning up?
I'll do it.
Point it the right way, mate. Not this way.
Thank you for joining in and have a great
Wait, it's upside down.
It's upside down, Miss Jane.
No. Hang on. Oh, it's a dud.
Hey! Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
See ya.